is an Academy Award winner who's getting Oscar buzz again for her latest film, Frankie and Alice. Please welcome the very beautiful Halle Berry.
Halle Bailey is one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. Whether she's walking the red carpet or advocating for women's health, Halle has firmly cemented herself as one of the most iconic actresses of the 2000s. But it wasn't always this way. Long before the flashing cameras and golden statues, Halle faced rejection, financial hardship, and crushing personal trials that could have easily derailed her dreams. Her journey to the top was anything but glamorous. Join us as we tell you the untold stories of Halle's rise to stardom. But before we do, like and subscribe to our channel. Born on August 14, 1966, in Cleveland, Ohio, Halle grew up in a racially divided neighborhood and was raised primarily by her mother after her parents separated. Her childhood was marked by instability and a determination to succeed that took root early on. She first dipped her toes into the spotlight through beauty pageants, eventually becoming the first African-American Miss World entrant in 1986. But those crowns didn't come with a clear roadmap to stardom. Chasing modeling promises, Halle moved to Chicago and found herself sleeping on a beanbag in a cramped apartment with over a dozen other aspiring women. Eventually, she landed in New York with nothing but a suitcase and sheer will. At one point, she lived in a homeless shelter in the YMCA while auditioning for roles. She suffered a diabetic coma during her first TV role, Living Dolls, and was later diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Through it all, Halle refused to give up, even when Hollywood showed little interest in casting a young black woman without connections or money. Long before Halle became a household name, she endured one of the darkest chapters of her life, a physically abusive relationship that left her partially deaf in one ear. For years, she kept the details private, revealing only in later interviews that a former boyfriend, not her ex-husband, David Justice, had punched her with such force that she lost 80% of her hearing in her right ear. It was a devastating betrayal that nearly broke her. What's perhaps even more heartbreaking is that it took time before she realized she needed to leave. As a young woman trying to break into Hollywood, Halle believed love meant sacrifice, even pain. It wasn't until she hit an emotional low, so low that she contemplated ending her life, that she knew something had to change. That turning point became a pillar in her transformation, not just as a woman, but as an artist. She later said in interviews that surviving that relationship gave her the strength to create boundaries, speak up for herself, and understand what she truly deserved. Halle became an outspoken advocate for survivors of domestic violence and began using her platform to break the silence many women carry. Halle's big screen debut came in Spike Lee's Jungle Fever in 1991, where she portrayed a substance-addicted mother. She insisted on not wearing makeup for the role and fully immersed herself in the character, proving she was far more than a pretty face. This was a calculated move. Halle knew she had to break free from the pageant queen image and showcase her dramatic range, even if it meant starting with unglamorous, gritty roles. Throughout the 1990s, Halle consistently chose parts that tested her versatility. In Boomerang, she played the grounded and smart love interest to Eddie Murphy's character, a refreshing take that challenged Hollywood's usual depiction of black women. She followed up with roles in Losing Isaiah, The Flintstones, and Bulworth, showing off her range from dramatic to comedic to seductive. But it was her work in introducing Dorothy Dandridge, an HBO film she also produced, that hinted at the legacy she was chasing. Halle won an Emmy and a Golden Globe for portraying the late trailblazing actress, someone she viewed as both a role model and a cautionary tale. In 2001, she made a risky career decision that paid off in a history-making way. She took the role of Letitia Musgrove in Monsters Ball, a raw and emotional drama about grief, racism, and redemption. The role demanded vulnerability, nudity, and scenes so intense they made headlines. It was a high-stakes gamble. Many in her circle advised against it, but Halle felt a deep connection to the role and believed it would allow her to break barriers in a meaningful way. Her instinct was spot on. Her haunting performance won her the Academy Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role, making her the first and still only Black woman to receive that honor. Her tearful, groundbreaking acceptance speech paid tribute to women of color who had paved the way, and to those who still hadn't been given a voice. It was more than a personal triumph, it was a seismic moment in Hollywood's history. And yet, even with an Oscar in hand, Halle found that the roles didn't suddenly come pouring in. The next stage of her journey would be marked by more battles, some external, others deeply personal. While most celebrity relationships come and go with little depth, Halle's love life has often played out under a cruel public microscope. She has been married 3 times, to baseball player David Justice, singer Eric Benet, and actor Olivier Martinez, and each relationship ended in heartbreak. Her first marriage unraveled amid emotional turmoil, and though Halle never publicly shared the full details, the divorce left her shattered and spiraling. She once admitted that the breakup pushed her to the brink of suicide. Her second husband, Eric Benet, famously struggled with sex addiction, which led to infidelity and public humiliation. Halle supported him through rehab, but ultimately left the marriage after realizing she couldn't fix what wasn't hers to carry. She later married French actor Olivier Martinez, with whom she shares her son Maceo. Though their divorce was less dramatic, it came with its own set of lessons. In 2023, she finalized the divorce and joked in a social media post, "Finally free. That's the last one." The humor masked years of emotional labor and growth. Today, she co-parents with maturity, protects her peace fiercely, and raises her kids to understand that real love begins with self-respect. In 2021, she made her directorial debut with Bruised, a raw story about a disgraced MMA fighter seeking redemption. Not only did she direct and produce it, but she also performed all her own fight scenes. The film became the top-streamed movie on Netflix in its opening week, proving Halle was still a powerful force both in front of and behind the camera. Off-screen, she emerged as a leading voice of women's health. After suffering undiagnosed symptoms for years, Halle discovered she had entered perimenopause. Frustrated by the lack of support and awareness around this major life change, she founded Respin, a wellness platform aimed at empowering women, especially those over 40. In 2025, she helped promote the Advancing Menopause Care and Midlife Women's Health Act, working to remove the stigma and ensure better healthcare for women across America. Halle also made headlines in 2024 when she shared a story on the Armchair Expert podcast about Prince slipping her a handwritten note asking her out. While the world swooned at the idea of the two legends together, Halle respectfully turned him down, citing a lack of chemistry. It was a rare personal peek into the clarity and self-possession Halle has cultivated in midlife. At 58, Halle shows no signs of slowing down. In 2024, she starred in the survival horror thriller Never Let Go, playing a mother battling both external threats and internal psychological demons. Critics praised her for delivering yet another emotionally charged performance. She also joined the Cannes Film Festival jury in 2025, a nod to her growing influence not just as an actor, but as a creative force and tastemaker. Halle is also set to appear in Crime 101, a high-stakes heist thriller alongside Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo, slated for release in 2026. It's another bold choice that blends action with moral complexity, a hallmark of her evolving career. One thing is absolutely clear about Halle's journey. It surely wasn't easy, but her legacy is unforgettable. Before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date. I'll catch you next time.